Rock 1 2.1 KFMA. That was System of a Down. I already geeking out. I knew I'd open up the rabbit hole on this one, and we started this stream on YouTube real quick because I only got a minute or two here on the air that we'll talk about CM Punk and AEW for all you wrestling smarks out there. But this is even interesting drama for people who aren't into wrestling whatsoever. Now, to give you a quick recap, CM Punk is a wrestler with a long resume of basically being anti-establishment, running his mouth. You may recall CM Punk from his failed UFC run. This is a situation where sometimes he gets so ahead of himself and with self-confidence that he writes checks that he can't necessarily cash. Well, he exposed a lot of backstage drama within the company of AEW immediately after a title win in his hometown of Chicago on Saturday. And it was kind of unprovoked. I mean, it actually, a lot of people consider it completely unprovoked. He kind of set it up where he just started airing his grievances out right next to the owner and president of the company.
Yeah, it was pretty wild to watch.
Yes. I do have a quick little audio clip. Now, his original beef is with that of a man called Colt Cabana, who he used to be best friends with. And now they work under the same umbrella company. But the rumor is that CM Punk had Colt Cabana fired because he just can't stand him. Well, CM Punk had this to say about that.
My time, and this is a fucking business. Why I'm a grown-ass adult man and I decide not to be friends with somebody is nobody else's fucking business. But my friends, if I fall backwards, will catch me. Scott Colton, I felt, never would have. My problem was I wanted to bring a guy with me to the top that did not want to see me at the top. Okay? You call it jealousy, you call it envy, whatever the fuck it is. My relationship with Scott Colton ended long before I paid all of his bills.
Ooh.
I have every receipt.
Oh.
I have every invoice.
Oh.
I have every email.
What?
I have the email where he says, and I quote, "I agree to go our separate ways. I will get my own lawyer and you do not have to pay anymore." That's an email that I have. The only reason the public did not see is because when I finally had to countersue him through discovery, we discovered he shared a bank account with his mother.
Oh,
Calling out moms.
That's
Throwing down
right.
the gauntlet.
That's right. Yeah. And so this is just the beginning of it because there's been rumblings that the AEW backstage is in turmoil and a lot of egos are basically clashing. But it's too much to break down on air. So what we got to do is take this to the YouTube stream. We are streaming live there right now. It's youtube.com/beefvegan. We got to unpack this with Powers. I know he's chomping at the bit. We'll come back with your F My Life and more on the FM side.
Can we do a reenactment?
We could attempt to do a reenactment. We'll play some unedited audio as well and video clips from this scrum. It's juicy. It's crazy. And what will happen this week? Well, it definitely has the world of professional wrestling a buzz. But again, we're moving on to the podcast broadcast part on youtube.com/beefvegan. Be back with your F My Life after this. It's Rock 1 2.1 KFMA. All right. So as we continue, now let's get into some of the juicier parts of this. So did you recap Rico? Give me a quick rundown of how you filled Rico in, because Rico is not our wrestling friend, right?
Sure.
So he's our outsider in
I'm
this
the
conversation.
outsider.
And let me even too sweet. He doesn't even get that reference. Okay. Boop. But the thing about what happened also at the media scrum and all this stuff that he was talking about, that is about a 10-year fight that he's had with his former best friend.
Yes.
That's left over from when he left the WWE and talked about his medical conditions on Colt Cabana's podcast.
Yes.
They've been sour grapes for a decade.
Well, yeah, because WWE had then attempted to sue him for libel or slander because of that podcast, and then they were both kind of involved in that, and that was the beginning of the fallout because money will always do that.
So this has been going on where this is his former best friend. They got in a fight over a decade ago.
Mhm.
And this month, that's all the reporters are talking about, because the young bucks, the EVPs that he mentioned, the
Yes.
wrestlers that own or work for this company, kind of not really owners, but that top brass, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones letting the rumors out about this and spreading rumors about Punk, saying that he tried to get Colt fired. We had to save Colt's job. And CM Punk's like, what's going on in this playhouse?
Yeah, let me interject because I want you again. We want to get Rico on this same level and stuff. So, inside this company, you have an owner who's a billionaire's son, right? And he's just been a wrestling fan forever. And he started this wrestling company with a bunch of independent superstars. The Young Bucks are a tag team. They're part of the underground swell. Kenny Omega is another wrestler who is popular in the independent scene. And when he started this company, he gave these wrestlers executive privilege and gave them titles to be vice presidents of his company. So now the problem is with professional wrestlers, they all come in with a certain amount of ego, and it is predetermined outcomes. So, and a lot of times when you have the bosses making the shot or calling the shots, coincidentally, those shots favor them in the short term or the long term. And some people have issues with that. So
famously, you're a backstage politician is what it's called. You're politicking for your spot,
right?
Selling other people out, doing what you can. You got to be careful in the world of professional wrestling.
Whole thing sounds very Shakespearean.
Yes, it is. Okay, so as we continue, CM Punk goes on this. They do these post-show scrums because they want to try to make it realistic. Now, these scrums, these post-show meetings, they somewhat are. Tony Khan has a policy where he's just like, you could ask me anything. We're going to give you a straight up answer, whether it's part of the storyline or not. We'll give you as much behind the scenes dirt as you want, as we can give you. CM Punk took this as an opportunity to quote unquote go into business for himself. And that's an expression in the industry to say, basically go off script and, air his grievances. And this is what he had to say about the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, which led to the shit hitting the fan. Check this out.
And as soon as we discovered that fact and we subpoenaed old Marsha, he sent the email, oh, can we please drop all this? Now, it's 2022. I haven't been friends with this guy since at least 2014, late 2013. And the fact that I have to sit up here because we have irresponsible people who call themselves EVPs and couldn't fucking manage a target, and they spread lies and bullshit and put into a media that I got somebody fired when I have fuck all to do with him, want nothing to do with him, do not care where he works, where he doesn't work, where he eats, where he sleeps. And the fact that I have to get up here and do this in 2022 is fucking embarrassing. And if y'all are at fault, fuck you. If you're not, I apologize. But what did I ever do in this world to deserve an empty-headed fucking dumb fuck like Hangman Adam Page to go out on national television and fucking go into business for himself?
There's another thing that happened.
For what? What did I do, Dave?
Yeah, so that's what started this, basically. There's rumblings backstage, and then yes, the former champion, Hangman Adam Page, went into business for himself, quote unquote, of shooting a promo on CM Punk on live television.
Right, they're on live TV. They're in the middle of the ring, and again, it's a show, right? All right, you're gonna say this, you're gonna say that. Yep. We go out. And then that dude says all this stuff right to CM Punk online, like, I'm going to save this company from you. You're the reason this. And it was so weird. And it felt like a heel turn. And everyone was like, what was that?
Yeah.
CM Punk just like, I don't know why you're so mad, and just continued with what was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Awkward,
but
dude.
was livid because you don't do that. You can do that.
In the world of professional wrestling, that's the number one no. You don't go into business for yourself. You stick to the script, and essentially you're betraying your partner's trust. Every opponent you step in the ring with, you guys are working together and you're protecting each other from serious harm. If you can't trust the person that you're going into the ring with and you go into business for yourself, then you can't really do business, and it gets dangerous, and it's not good for business. That's what Hangman Adam Page apparently did to CM Punk, and he has not let that go. Now, he was injured for a couple months. He was sitting on the sideline letting it stew. Now he's back, and he just won the championship. He is the world champion. There was a surprise return of MJF that nobody's talking about right now because of all this. Because the reason why is immediately after this, Rico, immediately after this scrum, CM Punk goes backstage into his locker room. That's when allegedly the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega stormed his locker room and were furious and started yelling vulgarities at CM Punk. Well, CM Punk started swinging, allegedly. Threw the first punch, hit Matt Jackson. Then his buddy Ace Steel.
Yep.
Apparently, allegedly threw a steel chair, caught Nick Jackson in the face, rocked his bitch ass because Nick Jackson's not tough.
No.
He doesn't. He looks goofy as hell.
I can't stand the kids.
I know. So and then so it was 2-on-3, and it sounds like according to some reports, and it really depends on who you choose to believe, and we'll see what happens when they show up on TV, if and when they show their faces. But I've heard reports that both the Young Bucks have black eyes.
Yeah.
That Nick Jackson got knocked the fuck out. Kenny Omega got bit, and it turned into a melee backstage. So this very stage world of professional wrestling got very real backstage.
He still got it.
And you got to keep in mind, this is the top talent, right? This is their babyface superstar. This is their Rock,
This is
right?
their champion.
They're John Cena.
And he's
the
doing like a
EVPs.
street brawl
Yeah.
backstage.
Right.
Fighting 3 of their executive vice
And
presidents.
beating them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that's the other thing. As much as he might have not done great in the UFC, he's got more UFC training,
Yep.
more UFC fights than any of these jokers.
Oh,
No
yes.
kidding.
Yes, exactly. And Cornette points that out too.
Yes,
so,
he does.
Yes. So the fact is, he and CM Punk was chomping at the bit to show off that, he wants to at least rack up
whooped all
one
their
W
ass.
from all this financial investment and training. And so at
Yeah.
least he could, claim victories over the Young Bucks.
What I'm getting so far from this too is I am much more entertained than Rings of Power and Game of Thrones combined.
I agree.
Holy crap.
Oh, well, wrestling
Bezos built
fans.
$1 billion and I got this for free. Like, what the hell?
Yes, it is fun to follow the backstage politics and to see what are they going to do on screen. And the big rumblings is Tony Khan has always been a fanboy who just is a rich kid playing with his live wrestling set.
Yeah.
And now it seems like it continues to get more and more out of control, and he's not the leader or the strength that you need to be in that position to deal with as much testosterone and egos and money. It's a shit storm there, and it is very thoroughly entertaining to watch and follow, right?
It's real. I love it the most.
Yeah, it definitely has people buzzing about it, and it's about nothing that's happening on screen as far as on the television program or the pay-per-views. What do you think's going to fall? What do you think the fallout's going to be from this?
I'm not sure. We'll see. I don't. So those EVPs did threaten to walk out. That
They're
would
not
be
going to.
the dumbest thing any children could do.
Right.
Right.
But would you be surprised?
Yes, because it would be the dumbest thing any 3 children could do. If they
Nobody's
have nowhere
gonna-
to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
No one WWE's not lining up to hire them.
No.
Yeah.
So
They're
I'm
backed
not.
in a corner.
Yeah,
Mhm.
kind of.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure what we're going to see. Honestly, they might have to keep them separate because the thing is that CM Punk's got that stroke.
Yeah.
That counts. And they thought that they had it. They do not. All right. And they did do a lot of immature crap for all the stuff we've heard about wrestling. How many times have you heard about someone going into business for themselves in the WWE in a promo, in a ring with the champion?
Right.
He should have been fired.
Yeah.
Like, that's nuts.
Okay, so they were in the wrong there for sure. But CM Punk does have a reputation and a history of, being that kind of nagging, squeaky wheel. And sometimes some people do look at it as a sense of entitlement. And, there have been a lot of promos replayed on Twitter, social media that are basically saying, hey, this is Triple H calling him out word for word for who CM Punk really is.
Right.
How much of this is a
You
character
want-
flaw against CM Punk, and how much is he the actual problem?
I'm not sure. Like, you want change if you're the change, right? I get that. Hey, isn't that how you feel?
Yeah.
Like, you want change in radio, but do you want it to happen and you're just going to applaud from the silence, or do you want to be the change?
Well, that's a problem. I do relate to CM Punk in a lot of ways, but then it makes me also take a step back and be like, ugh. Yeah, I could tell that I have been out of control at certain times and have let my ego make me become short-sighted in a way. To not be that much of a team player. I'm not saying
Sure.
exactly a correlate, but I mean, the whole CM Punk storyline and narrative from WWE leading into everything else is very relatable.
It is. It's very
Uh,
DIY, and
yes.
he's not supposed to make it.
Right.
So the thing about a lot of this that I don't know, all that stuff about Triple H and those things that cut CM Punk down, that was
Mhm.
also before we find out that Adam Page goes into business for himself, and that's why. Whereas CM Punk was being accused of going into business with himself.
Right.
No, that was a receipt. That was a retaliation
Yes.
for that thing.
But he still
And-
lowered himself to that level. And he
and
could have
he
he could
even
have been
said
better.
it.
Yes, he
said I
did.
shouldn't have done that.
Right. But
But-
still, it doesn't make it right.
Right. And then you got the idea of with CM Punk, like, this stuff with him calling out journalists. That's what was important too. During my time away, what did you and journalists do? What did you do? You report all this nonsense gossip,
Fan Flames, yeah.
and it's all nonsense,
Right.
and it's lies, and it's fan of the flames. He's kind of still being pretty real.
Yeah. So, okay, at the end of the day, are you Team Punk or are you Team EVPs?
All right, now I am Team Punk with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Righteous anger.
yeah.
All right.
He kind of got the short end of the stick to a degree, and a lot of gossip got out of control, and he called out all that gossip.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for watching us on this live stream. Mark out. We're going to hit the reset on this. Get ready for F9 Life on the FM side, and we'll be back for the podcast broadcast at 9 a.m. Thanks, dude. It's juicy, though. You a wrestling fan?